Well, Matt, here we are in Singapore. It's October 9 today, and the big buzz is what's going on with the OECD as it plans to release the next installment of its views on the digitalization of the economy. What's all the talk about?
Well, it's a really exciting day for those of us in international tax. We think we're going to get a publication today of a paper from the OECD. There's then a webcast from the Digital Tax Working Group this afternoon, which is going to talk us through the paper and the recommendations that the OECD's come up with. We think that the paper is going to be a Secretariat proposal, so not a consensus position, but a sort of a unified proposal from the Secretariat. We're hearing that it's already been discussed and agreed at the Secretariat, and so what's being released today does represent a more of a unified position that tries to draw together some of the trends that we've been seeing over the past few months in the digital debate. And we think that's then going to move on to sort of approval through the finance ministers at the meeting in DC later in the month, and then on to a Paris consultation next month. Now it is, I've been saying to people, these things they are big news, because what's going on here potentially represents a real sea change in international tax. It's something where we're moving away from a focus on what used to be the sort of digital tech West Coast clients, where there was a desire from sort of OECD and tax administrations to revisit what went on in BEPS 1 and actually say, well, we didn't go far enough with the transfer pricing and digital actions there, and we want to do something a little bit more focused on digital. And this debate's moved on from that and said, well, actually, this is no longer just about digital. This is the wider digitalization of the entire economy that we want to tackle now. And so it's a big deal, but it's also tricky, and it's significant for clients and for tax administrations. As I look at this, you've got 130 plus countries involved with three probably very broad buckets. You've got the sort of traditional headquarter jurisdictions, you've got the sort of market jurisdictions who are looking for more allocation of profits, and then you've got what the OECD refers to as sort of the developing countries, which are more focused on administration and sort of an ease of actually simplifying the measure. So trying to blend all of those together as well is a big deal. But also, as I say, for tax administrations, taxpayers, the OECD, we don't want BEPS 3.0. This is BEPS 2.0. This is the second round, and we need to get it right this time.
So it's actually moving quite fast. Now, I don't want to put you on the spot, but if you had a crystal ball and you could look forward 24 hours, what do you think the broad themes might well be?
So what I've been hearing is we're likely to see, as I say, a unified position that tries to draw together probably some of the commonality in a lot of the proposals that we've seen so far. And those common features include things like a slightly more residual profit allocation to market jurisdictions in some shape or form, some way of doing that goes beyond the arm's length standard, so perhaps involving almost a sort of a safe harbour or some kind of fractional approach that says that's an agreed proportion that goes into market. I suspect we will see carve-outs for certain types of industries, industries which aren't sort of IP-rich industries. Things like extractives and commodities, I think it's well known, are probably going to be carved out. There's been a lot of focus on FS as well as a carve-out. And I suspect there will also be sort of financial thresholds as well, maybe a debate around saying this is for the largest businesses, maybe keying off something like C by C is what I've heard in a lot of the policy forums that I've been involved in. In terms of the shape of the proposal itself, I think it, as I say, will try to blend together what we've seen so far. So it's not going to be user participation, it's not going to be marketing intangible, it's not going to be significant economic presence. It's going to take something from each of those, and I think it'll have to come up with some sort of allocation key, possibly based around sales and possibly based around the option for certain countries to layer on a bit of additional juice for digitalisation.
So fascinating, Matt. Time will tell if your best views were the ones that end up being the case, but it certainly sounds as though this is starting to move quite quickly, and the contours of what might actually happen may well become clearer within a day.
Within the next 24 hours, we'll know.
No wonder you're popular here, Matt. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.